On November 3rd, 2023, Link of Sunshine tweeted, "People on Twitter will really be like, you believe in voting? That pales in effectiveness to my strategy, firebombing a Walmart, and then not firebomb a Walmart." This is the Museum of Twitter, the show we talk about the most important tweets in the history of Twitter.com. I've definitely put off doing this tweet for a while because I don't really want to have to talk about it. Because conversations about this tweet are incredibly fraught. Like, I actually don't know if there has been one tweet that has been argued about more on political Twitter in the last year and a half than this tweet. And I think the reasons why are obvious. And I have my own complicated feelings about it. I suspect that I'm actually more sympathetic to it as a tweet than a lot of my viewers are, but I think that's because I really dial in on the words on Twitter. But let's back up, let's talk about where this tweet came from. So this tweet wasn't tweeted in a vacuum. It was actually tweeted quoting a cartoon that says, "Bad government," and what it originally supposed to say is "vote them out," but instead someone wrote over it, "kill them." Basically, it was a meme mocking the idea of using electoral politics to fix government. And I think in this context, what Basil says, I'm assuming it's Basil since it's a name, but I guess it could be Basil, but what Basil says, I think is pretty uncontroversial, specifically in response to this person. Because this person is not making a serious argument against electoral politics in favor of violent revolution. They're really just putting text over a meme and being like, haha, you silly person. And I think that there just is a lot of that on Twitter. I always took this tweet as less a criticism of people who take violent action, and more a criticism of people who are condescending to people who believe in electoral politics or nonviolent action. Because spend 2 minutes on political Twitter and you'll see someone who clearly has never left their house in their entire life be like, "You idiot, you really think that voting works? You have to blow up everything and you have to kill all the..." Or as Ronan Farnell put in the replies, "Voting is useless. We need to organize. Direct action. Terrorism is good, actually." Oh, me? No, I'm far too busy. But someone really should. Or as Anime Robin Zero says, tweeting, "It's time for a violent revolution. All bourgeoisie are guilty," while sitting on my couch in between commercials on Hulu. The thing being made fun of in the tweet, to me, was people who are hypocritical about this sort of thing. Now, I do think that this tweet, specifically screenshots of it, and even times that Basil himself has retweeted it, has been used to shut down people suggesting a more direct form of politics than electoral politics. And I don't think that that's good. Now, Jihad El-Haq actually went as far as to compare the firebomb Walmart tweet to MLK talking about the white moderate, and that is sort of emblematic to a lot of the criticism of this tweet. A lot of the leftist critique of the tweet is saying, oh, you care more about being comfortable not seeing violence than you do actual justice happening. And obviously, I am not going to solve the left-liberal divide on social media in this video. And I think that now, more than when Basil tweeted it, you could argue that electoral politics are definitely not enough to save us. But the thing I think that does still apply is that people will yell, "You gotta firebomb a Walmart," and then just sit on their couch and not do that. And to not do that is fine. I'm not gonna do that, but I'm also not gonna be rude to people who take more piecemeal steps or less violent steps. I don't know, it's extremely thorny. This might sound counterintuitive, but having a nuanced take on a tweet actually makes it much more difficult to talk about. But the thing is, this tweet really took off and wedged itself in the lexicon of political Twitter. It is the rare phrase from Twitter that has its own Wiktionary page. Or Wiktionary? Not sure how to say that. And it's been used several times since it's been tweeted when people have done actual political violence. Basil himself used it and said, "Damn, Calla Walsh really firebombed the Walmart. Good for her." When an activist named Calla Walsh, along with 2 others, tried to bomb a building in New Hampshire. A month ago, when a pipe bomb was found outside of a Walmart in Fresno, Armand Domalusi posted a screenshot and said, "My God, they actually did it." When someone tried to assassinate President Trump last July, Don Hughes, along with a lot of other people, said, "Looks like someone finally firebombed the Walmart." Because firebombing the Walmart has really become interchangeable with doing political violence. And the thing that inspired me to do it today is when there was video of Teslas being set on fire. Keith on Blue Sky tweeted, "Resist libs will be like, you believe in getting worked up over Senate votes? That pales in effectiveness to my strategy, firebombing a Tesla dealer, and then firebomb a Tesla dealer." This, of course, is like mocking the original construction where leftists are the ones saying that they want to firebomb a Walmart. The joke being that in this day and age, resist libs are the most politically active. Which is, of course, true, because wide moms are the mandate of heaven, and if you don't realize that, you're not paying attention. And this tweet really followed Basil around a lot, to the point where it got him in trouble a couple times. I don't want to say in trouble, but you'll see. The funny example is that he once posted a screenshot of someone he was talking to on Grindr that said, "Wait, you're the Walmart firebomber?" Which, man, I don't know how I'd feel if I was talking to someone on a dating app and they said, "Wait, did you tweet this?" I think it reflects really poorly on me that I think I would like it. But a big example of it coming back to bite Basil, which I don't even know how I would say that, is Basil tweeted something basically disapproving of Luigi Mangione shooting the CEO. And among other people, Fairy Gothmother MD said, "Someone's mad the Walmart actually got firebombed." To which Basil responded, "People will never get over the Walmart tweet, wow." Adding, "It was very obviously a critique of anti-electoralism and not the merits of firebombing. And no, some random guy likely airing personal grievances is not advancing anti-electoralism causes." Now, I am once again conflicted. And let me be honest, I think that he's actually being consistent. And people have definitely used the tweet to shut down discussions using violence. But truthfully, every time I read the tweet, it's like, oh, clearly the thing he's making fun of is people being hypocrites. And I also think there's a way that he's pointing out how flippantly people talk about political violence on the internet. And that is the thing that I really dislike. And that's honestly a big reason I've been hesitant to talk about this tweet, because I think that people on the internet are way too flippant talking about political violence. And I think that there's definitely a way that people who have never committed any violence in their life, I would guess, use someone saying, hey, I don't feel comfortable with that level of violence as meaning like, oh, you don't believe in this enough, or like, oh, you're a wimp, or oh, you're on the side of fascists. I just think that it is something that is extremely serious, and I think needs to be thought through if you're going to go through with it. And I don't think that the way that it's talked about online shows any of that. And so while I think that Basil's tweet has been used to shut down legitimate discussions of using systems other than electoral politics to get things done, I also think that you're kidding yourself if you don't think that there's an epidemic of LARPers on the internet just flippantly throwing out acts of political violence they want to commit without ever actually thinking through what it would mean. Not to get heavy, but this shit is serious. And I don't think it does anyone favors if the response to, hey man, maybe think it through before you firebomb Walmart is, oh, what are you, a squishy lib? Like I've said, it's a very nuanced topic, which honestly leads me to believe that the biggest sin of this tweet is that it is a pithy tweet. Because people have joked a lot that this tweet can shut down any electoral politics on the internet. It's gotten to the point where people just post like a cartoon version where you don't actually see the words, you just see a drawing of Basil's profile photo with the lines where the words are. In that it's so identifiable as a shutdown to revolutionary politics that you don't even need to put the words. But I think that this is a topic that should not ever be able to be shut down with just one pithy tweet. I think that the following statements are both true. We can't entirely rely on electoral politics to make a better future, and it does no one any favors if you LARP being a revolutionary on the internet without doing anything. And that's not to say that you have to do something crazy. It just don't jump down people's throats for not doing revolutionary acts that you yourself are not doing. I don't know if we ever had this luxury, but today, in 2025, we do not have the luxury of people sitting around and LARPing being a revolutionary. Because we can debate the merits of actually trying to start a violent revolution, but I think we all can agree it's incredibly useless to just sit on your phone and say you're going to start a revolution and do nothing. At that point, I think even revolutionaries would agree that your time will be better in electoral politics. Anyway, a fun edited version of this I saw, which I couldn't really find a place for earlier in the video, is Jake M. Grumbach. When JD Vance was talking about the whole thing of like how you need to love your family first before you love your neighbor, which he's a super Catholic, but of course that's not a Catholic concept at all, so I don't know what he's talking about. Jake edited the tweet to say, JD Vance will really be like, you believe in loving thy neighbor? That pales in effectiveness to my strategy, loving my family first, and then not love his family. Because this is after he advocated for the guy who said normalize Indian hate to get rehired by Doge, even though of course JD Vance's wife is Indian. God, this moment is awful to talk about. Anyway, I covered this tweet. I've been dreading it for a while. I'm dreading how it's going to be received. I don't know. I just don't want people to be mad at me, to be honest. Follow me for a new tweet every day and consider subscribing at patreon.com/Museum of Tour. We get the weekly Museum of Not Tour, and you can vote when I cover up Subscriber Sunday.